Doorman Michael Brown, who was also known as Michael Hoy, was considered one of the UK's most dangerous men. On March 23rd of 2001, Michael Brown and fellow doorman Gary Hampton, along with other mates, had been cruising in Michael's Volkswagen Golf. The car had rolled to a stop right next to Colin McGinty, Alan Whelan and Terry Randal's. The merry group had walked along Marsh Lane in Bootle. Now early in the evening the group had enjoyed a few drinks at Sullivan's bar, and now they were on the way home. During the trial the court heard that Michael Brown and pals had been driving along with the sole objective of looking for a group of people to hurt, and these would be rivals. When Colin made the mistake of flagging down a taxi, the Volkswagen stopped. Michael, along with 4 other people, had exited the car. When Colin, Terry and Alan realised that the men were looking for trouble, they all scattered in different directions. Michael Brown and Gary Hampton, along with other men, each pursued their victims. Terry and Alan had the fortunate luck of getting away. Colin McGinty, however, was not so lucky. Colin was quickly cornered, his escape route blocked off as he tried to climb over a wall separating Anvil Street and the grounds of a school. The depraved gang was so brutal and so heinous and so inhumane that Michael, who led the people, was so vindictive as well that Michael and Gary had pulled out blades and then began to blade Colin, even though he was halfway over the wall. Police say that Colin had been bladed 15 times, 11 times to the back alone and 2 to the front of the chest, also 1 in the armpits. 2 different blades had been used, which meant this was a collective M. Police says that the men had stashed the item in a drain near the pub and it was found 3 days later. Despite Alan and Terry having fled the scene for fear of their life, the men had returned to the scene trying to look for their friend when they realised that Colin was nowhere to be seen. To their shock and horror, Colin was found slumped against the wall, red leaking badly, and sadly Colin McGinty was falling unconscious. 999 was quickly called and he was blue lighted to the hospital. Now Colin's parents received the worst call that you could ever imagine and they went to the hospital themselves. Colin was put through emergency surgery, but sadly he was declared dead a short time later. Now when police investigated the M, Michael Brown Volkswagen Golf was quickly identified. When police interviewed Michael Brown, Michael explained that he had not been involved in the incident and had no idea why he had been identified as the owner of the car that was used in the Colin M. Now Colin McGinty was only 21 years old and he was employed, had a lot of friends and was in a good position with his life, and he was targeted by men that had prior charges such as GBH and being part of a gang that had used baseball bats to hurt other people. Now police says that this was a classic case of mistaken identity. Colin was innocent. Now Michael Brown was jailed for life for the barbaric M, in which he was told that the madman would have to serve at least 18 years. Ultimately, Michael served 16 years, and Michael was released in 2017. He did not change his life. After Michael Brown's released, he changed his name to Michael Hoy, got himself an encrypted phone, and forged a new career as a dealer that was also sourcing GUNs, and now he's ended up back in prison. But we will cover that story later. Condolences. Stay safe.